Good morning, it's Shanna. Today we are going to do a first impression and walkthrough of the Verdance Tarot. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. This is not a deck that I wanted, but when I received the Hedge Witch Tarot from Llewellyn, this was an additional deck in the box. So thank you to Llewellyn for sending it to me. It's interesting to get a deck for free to review that it wasn't one that I had wanted. It was not on my wish list. So when I say first impressions, I mean first impressions because I have not seen a walkthrough of this. So we'll see how this goes and whether or not I change my mind at the end of the video. Now, one of the reasons that I didn't want this deck was that I have all of Paulina Faye, all of her decks, and I feel like this is such a similar style that it wasn't a slot that needed to be filled in my collection. So if you guys would like to see a comparison between this one and one of Paulina's decks, I'm thinking Magic Makers just because it's the newest one. But if there's a specific one, let me know. I almost did that in this video, but I thought, no, I better just do the walkthrough and first impressions of this on its own because I think otherwise it would be a very long video. But I would love to do it if you're interested. I don't want to put it out there if no one's interested, but yeah, let me know in the comments if that's something you would like to see. Okay, so let's move on. So the first thing, again, are these card holders. I know, a few people with other decks that have mentioned that these don't work, but then I saw a couple where they do work, so I don't know. I think it's kind of pointless, I'll be honest. I don't think they're necessary. I think to get this in every deck going forward is kind of a waste. That's just my opinion. Okay, so we've got the title card, and then we have about the author, Stephanie. That's her last name. I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay. Beautiful box, beautifully presented. Again, I think Llewellyn has upgraded these inserts. It seems like these are more of a solid piece, at least on the base part where the cards don't seem to be like they'll fall in or anything. So, beautifully presented. This is a full-size box, unlike the Hedge Witch that was much smaller. So I will set that aside. Now I will say that, all else aside, whether or not I want this deck, Llewellyn always produces beautiful guidebooks. Like you get full color images, you get all the things, right? So let's just quickly flip. We are out of focus. Okay, we're trying this again. Somehow a setting got bumped. So if the first little bit was out of focus, I'm so sorry, but there wasn't much important that you missed. So let's move on. So we get the foreword with some beautiful artwork. And then an introduction, getting started. We talk a little bit about like how to start with tarot, which is always nice for beginners. Let's see. I don't know what these are. Septenary? What is this word? Septenary? In 18th century France, a resurgence in the popularity of the tarot connected it to esoteric wisdom, hermetic philosophy, and presented the tarot as an arcane book containing the secrets and mysteries of life. Hence, the 22 triumphi became known as the major arcana. Why don't I ever remember how to say that word? Who knows? Okay, let's see. The 21 remaining keys are conceptualized as 3 septenaries, expressing a cyclical worldview of history and humanity's spiritual evolution. Okay, well, right off the bat, if I read this book, I will be learning something because I have not heard that term before. So that's something. Then we go into the suits, the elements, the aspects, and the correspondence of each one. And then it looks like we have like a numerology kind of meaning, and then into the quartz. So that's nice. This is great for beginners and obviously even people who've been around for a while, because like I said, some of the concepts, you know, like the triumphi, I guess I had heard the word, but I didn't really know what it meant, if I'm being completely honest. So that's nice. Okay, and then we go into meditations, building resilience, card of the day reflections, symbols. Well, that's nice. So I guess on any of the cards, oh, there's that baobab tree again. Interesting. I've talked about that in past videos. So that's nice. I like that we get, you know, symbology that's shown in each of the cards. That's actually quite extensive. That's really nice. Wow. Okay, and then we jump right into the Fool. I'm trying to get to this last page. So it looks like we get kind of a main keyword and then some concise meanings. And then we get into the card and then the animal that's on the card. So I want to see if there are any spreads. There's a conversation with the artist. Yes, we do get a spread. That's nice. I mean, honestly, I don't generally remember that spreads are in the books, so I don't always use them, but I like that it's an option. So that's the guidebook. It's nice and thick. Beautiful, beautifully produced as always. Okay, let's jump right into these then. All right, we have the Fool. Now, part of why I don't care for Stephanie's artwork, again, I don't know her last name, so I'm just going to call her Stephanie as if I've known her. So obviously she is the one, or maybe not obviously, she is the artist who did the Shadowscapes Tarot, which I had at one point, and the artwork is so intricate and so tiny and so blended that I just have a hard time really connecting to any specific aspect of the card. I mean, obviously, you know, there's a fox and we've got the butterfly. It's not that you can't see the things. It's just, I don't know. I just have a hard time like pulling something out of the image, you know, and obviously, you know, it's her style, and maybe that's kind of her goal is to blend everything together that would force you to slow down, which is a fantastic concept in theory. I just, generally speaking, at least with this particular artwork, this particular deck, her artwork in general, I struggle with. That's all I'll say on that. We get it. Okay, so we have the Magician, which I believe in the guidebook they refer to as the Magus. So is this book? No, I was going to say, I wonder if it follows Thoth. Yeah, the Magus. So I don't know. I don't know if this is meant to be a Thoth deck without kind of digging into the guidebook. And, you know, as usual, as per late, I'm downstairs, so we have dog sounds. That's just where we're at right now, so. And, you know, even if I wanted to be upstairs at my desk, there is a giant spider up there that's just taunting me. So even if I wanted to be, that is not where I would be today. Okay, let's move on. The Magician. So we've got these eggs. It looks to me almost like there's like a seashell, or, you know, an oyster with a pearl. Without getting into the guidebook, I don't know that for sure. Obviously, we have a pine cone here. So we have, you know, we've got the tools and these fresh starts, the seed, you know, that kind of having everything that we need. He's got his feather. This nest is abundant, I guess. We've got like little bats down here. These colors are very spring to me, very pastel. And honestly, I think they're coming through brighter on the camera than they are in person. I won't say they're dull, but much more muted than I think they're coming through on the camera. Okay, we have the High Priestess. We have honey and, you know, the honeycombs with the dragonflies. I mean, the artwork's beautiful, no doubt. I just don't feel a connection to it. So here we have the Empress with pomegranates and a rabbit, and we have a little hummingbird there. The Emperor. I don't know. Do you guys like this deck? Do you like her artwork? Do you have the Shadowscapes Tarot? I would love to hear your thoughts on this because maybe I just don't get it. And in some ways, this sort of makes me think, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it makes me think of the Mary L. But like a softer version of it. This deck feels very watery. I don't know, maybe kind of watery, maybe kind of swords, airy. We have the Chariot. The movement here is portrayed beautifully. Strength. I do like this portrayal. Is that an eagle or a hawk? A falcon? Probably a falcon if I had to guess. But as an image, but if I were to look at this and say, how does this relate to me and the strength that I need, or, you know, that a person might need if I was reading for someone else, I'm not sure that I would be able to, like, obviously I understand the concept of strength, but to get a meaning from this specific image, I'm not sure I could. So we have the Hermit, Jaguar, which I believe makes sense. I think jaguars are kind of a solitary creature, though I could be wrong on that. But I'm going to assume, given that it's the Hermit, that was the goal. Wheel of Fortune with a ladybug. I have no idea how that relates. Let's quickly take a peek in the guidebook. I really don't want to dig into it too much, but I am curious how a ladybug relates to Wheel of Fortune. So luck, I mean, maybe the ladybug sort of symbolizes luck. That could be. Okay, so this card is focusing on the serpent, not so much the ladybug. Cycle, turn, rise, and fall. Inhale, exhale. Serpent coils in the branches. Scales slide through dead wood and green sap. It's our Ouroboros, self-consuming, self-sustaining. I mean, it kind of goes, you know, it talks about the apples here in the image, obviously the serpent. I think there was something about mushrooms, red berries, bright persimmons, pine cones, and nuts. It's a beautiful book. It kind of gives you that story behind the card, and you know, obviously a more story-centered message versus just like, here's your message, which can be nice. So Justice. I like all of the aspects of the image, and I appreciate that those are mentioned in the guidebook. So if you're looking for more of a story kind of reading, this might be a good option for you. There is a lot on each card, which is nice, can be nice. See, cards like this, just, I don't know, something about this reminds me of the Mary L. Temperance. The Devil, yep, agreed. I do not like grasshoppers or cicadas or whatever this is. I hate those. It's interesting that he is chained to this branch. We've got a key here. And he's got his fiddle. I mean, if nothing else, you know, if I weren't to use this deck, just reading the book, I think would be interesting. The Tower. Star. Kind of removing that veil, literally. This would be another one I would need to dig into the guidebook a little bit for. The Sun. This is beautiful, admittedly. Got our little doorway down here. Little guardians, it appears. And then, I don't know, maybe is this a crown? That is a beautiful Sun card. Judgment. The World. Ace of Cups. It looks to me like maybe the aces are all kind of this blue. Oops. Blue tone. Guess I can kind of go like that maybe. Five of Cups. This is interesting. Is he sucking up the cups or spitting them out? Because these fish are coming out of his mouth. I do like this Four of Cups. I'm having a hard time getting messages from the cards just because I'm feeling resistant to it. Let's be, if I'm being honest, I'm feeling resistant to this deck. However, oops, this is beautiful. This figure is having a moment. I always kind of appreciate the Four of Cups. Like, I get it, they're withdrawn, and sometimes I feel like they're being mopey and should just kind of get over it. But when I'm feeling that way, you know, I can relate to the Four of Cups and understand that, you know, yeah, I do have these other three, but right now in this moment, it's not good enough. And I just need to be able to lean over the side of my boat and stare into the water and feel sorry for myself. It's just where I'm at sometimes in those moments. All right, Six of Cups. Got this little figure chasing frogs. Seven. See, to me, this just doesn't say like decisions or indecision or a struggle with a decision. It just, this says more like an imagination, which, you know, I can appreciate because I understand that not every tarot deck needs to have that specific meaning for that card. And I think this deck, as I said, would be great for kind of a storytelling type reading. And I think it would also do really well if you simply wanted to lean into the intuition, which I think could be good for a beginner. If you're just learning and you really just want to do it your way, I guess, for lack of a better word. But I also think it would be very confusing for a beginner, or could be very confusing. Like this, the Eight of Cups. Like, how is that leaving something behind? And again, the book probably goes into it, but just looking at this, I'm not getting a leaving behind sense. Nine of Cups. I'm not getting the meaning of these cards. 10. I can see this. That completion, fulfillment. A Page. goodness. Forgot to, I mean, I guess you could see the backs over here. This is a very matte cardstock. It's typical Llewellyn, thin-ish, but I think should shuffle well. I don't know. All right, Knight. This is beautiful where the creature here has its lantern. I'm just, you know, I'm not really getting like idealism out of that, but Queen. This is another one that sort of reminds me of the Marielle. Something about her. And the King. I think it's pretty. Let's move on to the Ace of Coins. It looks like we're kind of in greens now. 2. Just kind of like a jellyfish here. Or a beekeeper, but there are no bees, so I'm kind of going with the jellyfish vibe. 3 of Coins. Yeah, I'm not getting a sense of, I mean, I guess I can kind of see a sense of collaboration where they, you know, he's got maybe droplets of honey or pollen. Maybe they're each carrying their own bit of pollen back to the hive where we've got the combs up here. 4 of Coins. This definitely has 4 of Coins vibes. Dragon's got his little hoard. 5 of Coins. 6. I mean, I guess you can kind of use your imagination here. Like, what is she doing? Watering the tree, I guess. 7 of Coins. Got these images in each one. Well, maybe not each, just a few of these. I'm gonna switch sides here so we don't start getting shadow. The 8. Nine of Coins. 10. I know I'm not talking a lot during this. Hopefully it's not awfully boring. I guess put on some music. Maybe I'll put some music in the background of this video. And hopefully the audio will be better than the last one. Page of Coins. I do like the, you know, the images of the younger figure. That's, you know, very page-like. Knight of Coins. Knight of Pentacles. I mean, I can see this. I like that it's the turtle dragon. That's actually really cute. I don't really understand all the bees. Probably, I guess, if I got into the guidebook a little more, that might be more of an explanation, but it seems to be a theme throughout each of the cards, each of the suits. And the King. They are beautiful together. I like that the courts, you know, seem to go together. So now we've got swords. It looks like we've got purple. So the Ace, the focus, you know, is on these eggs, the roots, the growing, the potential, all the things, right? 2 of Swords. Three. I'm not getting a message of growth or change or heartbreak. I'm not really getting that for this. This feels more Five of Swords-ish to me. Four of Swords. I do like all the birds though, that's nice. Five of Swords. I mean, so he stole a ring from these geese, or swans, I mean. I guess. Okay, Six of Swords. That's nice that these swans are saving this person, assuming they're still alive. Seven of Swords. All right. The Eight. This is very classic, Eight of Swords. Nine of Swords. I can see this where you sort of feel like you're drowning with all the swords pointed at you. Ten of Swords. So this fish is going to eat a heart and the hummingbird is flying away and all the birds are watching. Okay. Maybe I just don't have an imagination, but I'm just not getting that Ten of Swords vibe for this one. Finality. All right, we've got Page of Swords. Another beautiful image with the youth. The youthfulness. The Knight. This has nice movement. I do like how each of the knights has a lantern. I don't know. I just think it's a nice touch. Random thing to notice, but sense of movement there is nice. The Queen of Swords is beautiful. This is actually a really beautiful Queen of Swords. I think that a lot of times Queen of Swords tend to be one of the least attractive. I think they're portrayed as one of the least attractive queens in a lot of decks, which is unfortunate, but I think she's very pretty. And the King. All right, Ace of Wands, we get that fiery sense here. Two of Wands. I think this is lovely. We've got our acorn hanging above the little bear who's got a butterfly on her chest. That's actually a really pretty card. Maybe a little guardian down here. I like how this looks like maybe it's the head of a snake. Potentially a tortoise maybe, but I'm getting kind of snake vibes. I like that. And then Three of Wands. She's on her journey. She's left her castle, following the butterflies. Oh, and she's got little bear tracks to follow. That's nice. So maybe she's following this bear. Maybe this bear is her guide, you know, her inspiration to leave. I like the way the little squirrel's looking up at her. That's really cute. All right, Four of Wands. You can see that milestone, a celebration of some kind. Stepping into, you know, this realm. All right, Five of Wands. That sense of bullying, the blue jay. Blue jays can be quite bullies, quite the bully. We've got the rat here fighting the squirrel for the acorn and the blue jay. We've got the crow here in the background with more birds coming. You can see that. Six of Wands. A celebration. This feels very oak, ash, and thorn to me. All right, Seven of Wands. Aw, I like this one, but that actually makes me feel really sad. Just defending our babies. You know, growing up, my grandma always watched nature shows, and I couldn't. They made me so sad. I can't even think about it. There was a video on Instagram the other day, and it showed some random bird came into a nest that, it wasn't a nest, it was like a box that someone had put out for these baby birds. And the baby birds were inside, they had a camera, and a stray bird basically walked in, and the baby birds were backed up into a corner and they were panicking, and this other bird was like, I'm not sure what it was doing. I watched about 15 seconds of it, and the random bird like reached in and grabbed something. I couldn't quite tell what it was. I couldn't tell if it was one of the smaller birds or if it was an egg. I don't know. Grabbed it and took off, and then came back, and the baby birds were just panicking, and I had to turn it off because it just freaks me out. So this makes me sad. I don't like to feel sad. I don't want to see anything get hurt, and I get it. It's the circle of life, blah, blah, blah. But I don't need to see it to understand it. So this makes me sad. I love this card. It's beautiful, but I don't like it. Let's move on. Eight of Wands. Movement. I think that's a pretty basic Eight of Wands. Given all the details and all the other cards, I feel like this is meh. I mean, you know, the fish in the stream are moving, the butterflies are moving. I don't know, I just feel like the butterflies could have been bigger, like more of a sense of like, I don't know. This feels more like frolicking than like a sense of urgency that I think the Eight of Wands can tend to bring. Anyway, Nine of Wands. We've made our journey. We're headed up to this final destination. We're battered, we're tired. I don't really get the sense of battered here, but I mean, you know, it doesn't always have to be like that, I guess. And then 10 of Wands. Slow and steady wins the race. This poor turtle's got to carry all these passengers. Doesn't seem to mind though. It's got a snack for the road. Interesting. It's a beautiful card. All right, Page of Wands. Knight. Queen of Wands. I would have liked in this card to see a black cat there, you know, or some kind of black cat figure. I guess it wouldn't have to be like a specific cat, but like some kind of, I just like to see a black cat with the Queen of Wands, and I feel like there's been other, you know, creatures in here that resemble a black cat that they could have, I think she could have added that in here. But I digress. And the King of Wands, I think he's lovely. All these animals are looking up to him. So, I mean, overall, my opinion is that it's a beautiful deck. The colors are nice, but it is not for me. So if you are interested in this deck, reach out to me, email me. My email is in my bio. Email me and we'll make it work. Thank you again to Llewellyn for sending it to me. Again, this was not one that I chose, but I appreciate getting sent a surprise deck. You know, I'll never complain about getting a deck to look through and review and experience, because honestly, that's part of the fun of having tarot, is just getting to be able to have that tactile experience, hearing the cards shuffle, which I won't shuffle these because I don't want to put them back in order. It's typical Llewellyn cardstock. We all know how that shuffles. It's lovely. So, as I said in the beginning, if you guys want to see a comparison with any of Paulina Faye's decks, just let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think of this deck. Do you have it? Do you plan on getting it? Do you Do you think it looks like something else? Anything else? Anyway, let me know what you think. All the thoughts are welcome, and I will catch up with you guys next week.